Okay, welcome to the first of what's going to be three videos on cloning. And in this first one we're just going to look at the very basics, but also a couple of techniques that are a bit more advanced as well. Okay, so we're in Lightroom, and I'm just going to show you what you have on offer in Lightroom, and this is the spot remover button. Okay, and it's really only good for that, for spot removal. This particular photograph, if I push my dehaze slider right up, you will notice straight away all these sensor spots. Okay, quite a few of them. So what I need to do is click on that with the left mouse button, and you get this target cursor here. Click over the areas you want to clone and heal, and I'll just point out what the difference is now. If you right click in the target, in the source area, you get these two buttons, clone and heal. Okay, if you're going to be doing what I'm doing here and removing a spot, heal is the best one, because clone does an exact copy of wherever the source is. So if you look at that, see, it just doesn't match up. Whereas if you, as I say, put it on heal, even if you're quite a long way off on matching the source color and luminosity, it does a pretty good job of matching up because it looks at the surrounding area. Okay, so it's important to make sure that you are on heal. Alright, and we'll just carry on and do the same thing with the rest of them. So there. It is of course much easier if you clean your sensor. Okay, there we go, and one more there. And that is the spot removal tool in Lightroom. Simple as that. Just click the done button and they go on. Just push our dehaze back down where it was. And still got one left there. Okay, so let's go across into Photoshop. This is the image we're going to be using. First thing we want to do is press Ctrl and J. That duplicates the layer, so we've got our original layer in the background should we need to paint back any of the original layer. So I'm going to hide that, okay, and because we made a copy, it's no longer the background layer, so it's not locked. Okay, easier to work on. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take out this wheelie bin, and we're also going to take out this bag that's lying against the telegraph pole. Okay. First of all, let's explain how I'm zooming and moving around here. Hold my Alt key down and then scroll my mouse button in to zoom in. And then if you want to move that into the centre of the picture, you just press the space bar and the cursor changes to a hand, and you can drag it wherever you want. Okay, I'm just going to change my brush back to a round brush, and to just a moment, we are in the clone stamp tool here. Okay, as you can see, if you hold the cursor over the tool, you get this box pop up, and you can click on that and it'll tell you all about it. Okay, so if you haven't used this before, it's quite useful. So let's go back into that. Cancel. Okay, let's go back into our original image, and if we put the mouse over that again and then right click, we get the selections and clone stamp tool. Okay, so that's how you get your tool up. Right, here's my cursor, and if you can see, it's a round brush. If I hold the Alt key down and the right mouse button, I can make it bigger or smaller, and if I go up and down, I can change the hardness of the edge, and I'll leave that at about 50%. Okay, so I'll make that a bit smaller. Hold the Alt key down again, and you see the cursor change, and it's looking now to select the source point. So I click the left mouse, and that is going to be now the source point, and you can see as I drag it across, it's cut and paste in. Now I'm going to paint in, hold the left mouse key down continually and you get an exact copy of what's to the left. Okay, and I'm going to change my source point now and drag that up a bit. Okay, and it's important that you do change your source point so that you get a randomized painting, otherwise you get repetition, and it's very noticeable if you get this repetition. Okay, change my source point again, painted in this gravel. And we are getting a bit of repetition here, look, there. So change my source point and just paint a bit of that out. And there. Oops. Okay. And then you notice I'm actually copying the white marks on the road here. Now that would be fine, except that it curves around, and that's going to continue as a straight line if I continue cloning that. Okay, so what we're going to do next, cut a little bit harder. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to get rid of a bit of the road. And I've got to be careful here because we've got shadows of trees, and it's worth remembering that you're only going to get shadows of trees if there's trees there. If I kept painting those shadows across, it wouldn't look right. Okay, so it's always worth bearing in mind the context of what it is you're copying as well. Okay, let's get that. That should do. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is try and copy this part of the line to continue to go around that corner. So we make a selection, go up here and pick on our polygonal lasso tool, click 4 points here. Okay, and we want to go edit, copy, or Control C if you wanted to, and then again edit, paste. It pastes it in exactly the same place. The marching ants have disappeared, but there is, as you can see, a new layer there, and on top of that is the pasted selection. And if you want to move that, click the move tool up here, just press V. There you go. So put it to where we want it to go, roughly right about there. Okay, now we want to move this around so it lines up with the curvature of the road. So press Control and C, which brings up the transform tool. Okay, and then right click, and we're going to use distort to start with, and just drag that there and drag that down a touch, make it a bit smaller, and there we go. Okay, just line that up. Alright, and then the next one we use is right click and we go to warp, and you see it pops up this grid, and we'll zoom in a bit. What we could do now is we can actually have much more local control of what we're warping here. So got to be careful not to make it look unrealistic. Just try and keep the lines as straight as you can. It's not too bad. Okay, so we click the tick the box. There we go. And we'll go merge visible, which will take away that layer. Okay, now we need to clean up this area here. So just go back into the clone stamp tool, zoom in a bit, and just start painting in over that. Okay. Right, so we need to get rid of these sharp edges here. Okay, one of the ways of doing this is to use your clone stamp tool, but bring the opacity down to about 30%, and then you can blend it in. Okay, so okay, get that back up to 100%. The reason I did that was because I just made it a little bit too blurry and I wanted to get some sort of sharpness back in. And I think that looks okay. Alright, and the final part now is to get rid of this here. Okay. First thing we do, clone stamp, as before, select our source point, and just paste that in. I've just picked up that little circle there, so I don't want that, so click there. And you see the source point moves at the same time. Okay. Big problem we've got here is we've got this clean edge here. Now that wouldn't look like that normally. It'd be like this one where you've got pieces of grass growing over the front of it. Okay, and this is quite difficult to do because we haven't got anything to use as a source. So this is where we're going to look at another technique. Okay, and that's actually paint it in using a grass-shaped brush. Now, if I go up to my brushes here, as you can see, I've now got a round brush. But if I slide down, I've got these grass brushes, and you can see them up here. Okay, and there we go, make them a bit smaller, and we can use the clone stamp tool and select that area, but it paints it in as a grass shape. It's a bit big, and also I want to randomize this, so if I go up to here and click on that icon, I get some more controls, and these top three here, scatter in texture and shape dynamics, I can change they randomize the size and the angle. There we go, and round this a little bit. Okay, again make it a little bit smaller, select my source point, and there you go. Make a couple a bit bigger. There we go, looks quite natural. A little bit. That's it. So that covers a few basic techniques of cloning. So we've looked at what you can do in Lightroom, which is very limited, and we've used the clone stamp tool. I've shown you how to change the size and the opacity and the softness of your brush, and also how to cut and paste an area and transform it to match the background. Okay, it can be a very powerful tool that in replacing an object. Okay, that's it for the first video, and we'll be looking at a bit more complicated techniques in the next two. Thank you.